کاوش مدیا.
You know, the Iranian threat is multifaceted. It's a nuclear threat, that's for sure, but also ballistic missiles are a threat. Militias across the region and proxies that Iran has are also a threat. And none of the countries that are within range of Iran's ballistic missiles were included in an agreement that flushed the regime with cash and allowed it to rapidly expand its proxy network across the region. So today we're seeing the same thing. And it's important to note that for many of these countries, the United States is a very valuable ally. If the United States wants you on board publicly with any of its initiatives, you publicly endorse that initiative. That doesn't really change that there is real worry and there is real apprehension in private. And I'm sure that officials in the Gulf are making that worry very clear and communicating that to the administration today, just as they did in 2015.
The war from Arab is going on right now.
Right now.
And the strategic significance of it is?
So it's two or three. First, it's the last big city that is not under Houthi control. It's next to the oil fields and gas fields, the one remaining refinery in Yemen that functions, and it's very close to the Saudi border. Okay, so if the Houthis take over Ma'rib, which looks very much like that will happen, the only thing that's stopping them is coalition air power, namely Saudi air power. If they take over Ma'rib, then they control all of northern Yemen and will then effectively be the most powerful, dominant force in the country. Now, the Houthis are clearly in an alliance with the Iranians. The Iranians have helped them tremendously in any number of ways, through Hezbollah, with training. Many of Houthis have gone to Iran and been trained, especially on missiles and drones. They've been taught how to build their own drones. Their media operation is run out of the southern suburb in Beirut, which is Hezbollah territory. They have really become a very formidable power and a very difficult one to dislodge. I think it was during the Trump administration, the UAE sent a delegation to Iran. And around that time, if I was paying attention, and in fact, I heard the Iranian foreign minister, then Mr. Jawad Zarif, who had visited the UN, and among the things that he was saying was, wouldn't it be a terrible thing if a major tower in Dubai was hit by a Houthi missile?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Right?
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would also be...
Nice little tower you got there.
Yeah. And that would, of course, end the whole model of Dubai, right? In terms
Right. One drone could end the model of Dubai.
Absolutely. And Iran would have plausible deniability. It would also, even though...
It was an errant Houthi missile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whether he was confident that the Houthis would do this or not, in the effect was that it had the UAE exactly where the Iranians wanted them, and they came and paid some form of obeisance. I don't have the details of what they did with the Iranians, but it was very clear that the Houthis, could do things for them if they wanted to. Also, when they attacked the Abqaiq and Khurais fields in September of 2019, if you listen to the Iranians then, they said, no, it wasn't us, it was actually the Houthis. When in fact we now know that those launchers came from the Iraq-Iran border. Exactly.
Yeah.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند